Hey Trey, how you doing? Thank you for including your work. I've got your post up right here. I just wanted to address your writing of it. So the fonts I have chosen are meant to be soft and appealing to all people. The font use for the T is pretty much how I have always signed my name, so it's perfect for how I want to brand myself. The images are my creation, and if I were to go into work for myself, I would use some variation of this design. I chose the color orange. Okay, let's go ahead and jump right into your work. I've got up right here. Okay. Now, the one thing I recommend is to really tone this down considerably. I think there's a lot of visual things happening, and I think that the amount of activity in this business card precludes successful hierarchy, and that's based on the following. We have spent this past week learning how to create hierarchy by using contrasts, alignment, and proximity. Okay, contrasts I think are obvious to make something stand out from the rest of the things they're grouped with. Proximity kind of indicates that things that are related should be close to each other in a composition. And then alignment is, I think, pretty much self-explanatory. So I'll be addressing those, but let's go ahead and start in with the front of the. So you have can of tea designs. What I would recommend doing is typographically here, I would not stroke the letter forms. Adding a stroke is something you don't want to do in typography, and typically professional designers will not add a stroke on typography. If you want to increase the visibility, what I would do, like let's say for example, for the T, instead of the orange stroke, what I would do is I would duplicate the T, change the color, place it behind, and offset it a little bit. The reason you don't want to use a stroke is because a stroke actually changes the shape of the letter forms. So for example, these little shapes right here, like that S, the S right there, and that little open counter of the cap G in design, those all get closed down as the stroke size increases. That indicates that the stroke itself is impeding the expeditious representation of the spatial relationships associated with these specific letter forms, otherwise known as it changes the shapes of the letters, specifically the internal shapes, the closed and open counters, and it also creates letters that are too close together by creating the stroke on the outside of the letter form. So those are a couple of really good reasons not to use a stroke on letter forms. Okay, moving to the front of the business card, I think that I think it's really cluttered. The viewer just does not know where to look first. You've got this on an angle here. You've got these all presented at different angles. You've got this center aligned over here, and then you've got a random logo, Lyft. Their random logo is placed on your business card. So not only would there be copyright infringements associated here, but you're branding a different company and not your own company. So I do not recommend using this logo in your business card. As far as typography goes, what I would recommend doing is there's a couple of things I really think that you would benefit from doing. And I'm going to jump over to the announcements area. And there's a dedicated announcement called How to Design a Business Card. Here's about a 5-minute video here. Here's a 3-minute video here. Here's a lynda.com little mini course here. Then over here, we've got 3 additional resources, including plenty of examples. What I want you to do is take a look through all of these resources and determine how you can employ contrasts, alignment, and proximity to increase the hierarchy associated with your work. Now, don't be afraid to go out there and take a look at visual examples. Right now, I think there's so much going on in this business card. You're kind of sacrificing the main intent of a business card, and that is expeditious communication. So in that regard, I recommend re-establishing the layout for the business card. Okay, and now typographically, the open a can of tea and create amazing. These are kerned so tightly. They're all right on top of each other and really just running in as a run-on word. I mean, this is almost illegible. I had to look through it a couple of times. I do not recommend packing this type in here so tightly. I would recommend that you also think about how you're going to place, like these should all, this is what you do, right? Shirt art, logos, gaming avatars, challenge coins, those should all be grouped together. So basically what could you do is you could have open a can of tea and create amazing, I don't know, should that be graphics right there? And then over on this side, you would have Trey Stinson. Um, you would have your web address if your company has a web address. This is a hypothetical assignment, so you would include the company's web address. You would include not a personal Gmail, but your email at the web address for the company, the telephone number. We still include addresses in business cards, so I would recommend including the address and then include any social media that might be pertinent. So if you've got, and that's professional social media, not your personal Facebook page or anything like that, but professional social media like Behance or LinkedIn. And Facebook if you have a dedicated professional Facebook page and not a personal Facebook page. Okay, and again, now the colors I think are I wouldn't use all of these colors, but because every time you add something to a composition, you're basically taking away from what's already there. This is known as Hicks' law, and basically it dictates that whatever you have a composition, the information that you're trying to present, when you keep adding further embellishments like multiple colors, multiple fonts, multiple alignments, multiple configurations, it eliminates the ability for the viewer to be able to absorb and retain the information in the composition. So I recommend really, really simplifying this. Okay, those are my recommendations. It mostly has to do with establishing good hierarchy based on contrasts, proximity, and alignment. So again, review those resources for creating a business card, and also don't forget to go through the course lectures so that you can reestablish your knowledge of contrasts, proximity, and alignment. Okay, go ahead and let me know if you have any questions at all. I'll be glad to provide any needed clarification. Thank you very much, Trey.